Welcome back to Shareverse's Smash Parody series. See, if I did say Super Smash Lesbians to start things off, it would be weird. Anyway, I'm AJ, and after a long time detour of all of units, I think it's time to make a return to the parody series that was supposed to be discussed alongside units, until I realized that if I did, it would spoil future installments. Case in point, the third event of the Smash Lesbians parody series was Super Smash Lesbians Anniversary. Originally, the title was supposed to be called the 1 year anniversary, but because of how redundant that name sounds, I went with just Anniversary. Much like the other videos in this series, this video will be relatively short. And when I mean short, I mean, yeah. So let's get to it. Following the aftermath of Smash Lesbians Melee in March of 2016, the parody series was on an indefinite hiatus, and throughout the year, there wasn't any demand for another event. In June, Rosalina and Samus defeated Mother Brain and put their rivalry to an end, and right after, the endgame of units was captivating enough to gather the attention of everyone from Shareverse to close out the rest of the year. But starting in 2017, things began to look a bit different, more brighter, more optimistic. And with the anniversary date of the first Smash Lesbians event coming around, my reflection decided, hey, let's make another event. It's been a year, so things with a lot of people, mainly two, have changed within that time. And so, January 6th of 2017 would be the date for Super Smash Lesbians Anniversary, which just so happened to be the actual anniversary of my reflection and Rosalina being in a committed relationship. So, make that of what you will. In other words, I also scrapped the title of Brawl, because let's face it, nobody likes Brawl. But because it's an anniversary, there were no major newcomers to the event. Well, one of the most requested Astral Souls to appear in Smash Lesbians was a couple from the hit idol anime series Love Live, that being probably the most well-known character in that show, Nozomi Tojo. And I took one look at this thought and I said to myself, no. But I'm giving you another Nozomi anyway. During the finale of Units, one innocent bystander that wanted to join the fight was a girl named Nozomi Kaminashi from the series Kijo. It's a competitive sports manga and anime where girls have elaborate battles with their butts. Fucking Japan. But my reflection took a liking to Nozomi and considered her a friend, especially since Nozomi was the voice of reason to my reflection on leaving his first high school after getting bullied so many times. So by the time the anniversary was about to happen, AJ decided Nozomi should join. Now Nozomi did not open her sexual orientation to anyone, but with 5 straight women already being in the production, Nozomi would probably not cause a controversy. And for that, she was given the Roy role from Fire Emblem. The main reason was that in Smash Bros, there are 2 characters that are named Roy. So, as a tease, I did put a Nozomi in Smash Lesbians, just not the one people wanted. However, Nozomi needed a partner to tag along, and as a suggestion from the Great War alignment, one of the F-Zero organization members was accepted in. A friendly member of the organization, mind you. That being Margaret Winston, a timid, experienced teacher that wanted to help others. She volunteered to tag alongside Nozomi, and as for her, she strangely picked the Bowser role. Why's that? Well, you'll see. But if you did see Blood F-Zero, well, you would know. But with these being the only 2 newcomers, the event began without a hitch. And as usual, this event was streamed to Astral Souls online, ready to see. Much like the previous 2 events, everything started off perfectly fine, especially now that the Smash 4 crew were not a looming threat anymore. It was a peaceful event. But if I'm making this video a standalone title, you know something bad did happen. Nozomi was a competitive fighter in the event, but Margaret was more on the defensive side. That is until the final hour of the event. Samus piloting the Master Chef mech and was fighting the participants in final matches. But that's when Margaret's turn came. What seemed like a normal run for her, Margaret's mentality changed, and in her place, Melissa Winston was seen in the Bowser attire. And this is why she picked the Bowser role, because Margaret inevitably knew that Melissa would emerge during the event. And since Margaret had the Bowser role, it only made sense for Melissa to portray the Giga Bowser role. And as mentioned in Blood of Sub-Zero, Melissa's power level is equal to that of Samus in her base form. So she was looking for a real brawl. Hey, that's the funny Smash Brothers world that I disowned earlier in the video. Remember that? As requested to her adversary, Samus fought Melissa one-on-one. And just as a reminder, Samus doesn't have the best track record with people named Melissa. The two were practically not breaking a sweat. Although, just when both women were starting to get tired, Samus was considering to tap into her reserve and go into her Metroid forms, which were much stronger, but would be unfair to Melissa. That's when Melissa's gaze caught Nozomi's attention, who was completely shocked. And in that moment, Margaret's conscience tapped back into her body, now using her second form, known as Margaret Plus. She then told Nozomi to go to the Sub-Zero organization base, which was located in Syracuse, to uncover a hidden truth. And with that, she requested Samus to kill her, preventing Melissa to return to the event. And almost on cue, Samus fulfilled her plea for help. Nozomi had no idea what Margaret meant, but following the end of units not too long ago, it was under the assumption that there was something secret being hidden away in the outpost. And with AJ tagging along, Nozomi made her journey upstate. I want to bring up that the base in Syracuse was not the only location that the Sub-Zero organization had. There were multiple outposts throughout the country. It just so happened that Syracuse was the most convenient for a lot of members. By this hour, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, so AJ was dead tired. The organization was closed, but surprisingly, Nozomi's presence somehow allowed the doors to open up. And not only that, but after doing some digging, a secret door was unlocked for her, which led into an even more secret laboratory that none of the members knew about except for a select few. Once inside, the lights illuminated, revealing countless test tubes, all of which showing disgusting, monstrous creatures experimented on. And they all had two things in common. One was that they all featured the traits of ants. The other, they all looked similar to Nozomi. Through multiple documents and papers lying around, it was revealed that this was all a part of an operation created by none other than the Demon King Nizar, the deceased antagonist of units. It turns out Nozomi was yet another pet of Nizar's world domination plan. Nozomi was an innocent organic astral soul in Japan who got into the Kijo fad in 2013. But in 2016, during the Unipop tournament, she was kidnapped by Nizar as a personal test subject. Using the Syracuse outpost as a study hall, Starla contributed in seeing how similar Nozomi was to that of an ant, both of which having huge butts and antenna hair. Combining the traits of ants, Nozomi was cloned to hell and back as part of Nizar's research to create the soldiers that we saw in the unit's finale. These creatures were known as Anonymous Neutralizing Terrors, or ANT for short. Nozomi had no recollection of this because Nizar wiped her memories of these experiments, meaning that she was immediately shipped out in America not knowing what to do with her life. That is until she came across units, and it turns out this was all a part of Nizar's plan. Nozomi was used as a sleeper agent for the Alliance if Nizar was defeated, and following his defeat, the Sub-Zero organization would use Nozomi's sleeper agent abilities to awaken all of the ant clones in this laboratory to start a new revolt. A revolt that would not be able to be defeated because of how massive the quantities of these soldiers would be. And that's why Margaret tagged along with Nozomi during this event, because she was forced to by the organization and Melissa to keep a watch over Nozomi. The original plan was that Melissa would awaken Nozomi's abilities to start the revolt. However, as already shown, Margaret's conscience was able to slip back in and prevent this activation. With Nozomi seeing all of these documents and these plans in the laboratory, She felt violated that Nizar would abuse her body like this. But that's when Nozomi came to the understanding that all of the creatures that were in these tubes were a part of her. And with the revolution happening at any moment, especially now that the Sub-Zero organization knows about this, thanks to in part by the anniversary event, Nozomi made the decision to incinerate the entire laboratory. And to make extra sure that Starla and the others would not try the experiment again, Nozomi decided to stay in the burning lab. She thanked AJ for his hospitality following the events of Units, and gave him one more reminder about considering leaving high school. She sealed herself from the building as the secret laboratory completely combusted through a self-destruct initiation sequence. By this point, it was nearly 3 o'clock in the morning. My reflection returned home. The event had already ended by that point. Rosie was waiting for him, but before hitting the hay, he commissioned a tombstone in the local Astral Soul Cemetery, one for a bright, optimistic warrior, Nozomi Kaminashi. And with that was Super Smash Lesbians Anniversary. Like I said in my second video to the roster revision, I was not pleased with the original episode of the Super Smash Crew podcast, the second episode which chronicled the first 3 events of Smash Lesbians. I felt way too restrained on how I wanted to tell my story. Not to mention, I got it rushed to hell and back. But now, with the story being displayed with images and music, I can safely feel satisfied that I could talk about the tragedy of Nozomi online. Shortly after this, the Kijo manga adaptation reached its untimely conclusion. Same with the anime too, that didn't get a second season. But with the inclusion of a Sub-Zero organization member in the Parody series, things would get a little batshit crazy. And that will be discussed next time. So, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Until then, I'm AJ, and I'll see you all in the next one.